Today we're going to draw a rubber monomer, draw a sketch of a rubber unit entering the room first. Let's start with the drawing. Let's first observe the length to width ratio of the entire rubber. The entire length and width relationship is large. First, when we shape it, we need to put on this rubber first. Let's give it geometry. What does geometry mean? For example, let's summarize this position as a large triangle, and this triangle leans toward a high lifespan shape. So at this point, we can draw a relationship in a triangle. Such things simply don't exist. It is a role where you assist and support yourself. Look, now I've drawn a triangle, right? After finishing, find this triangle. It's like fixing the end edge of the rubber head, a low point with rubber. Set the positions above and below for it. After setting this triangle, take a look. The whole rubber is right. It's a whole piece of rubber. How to put it, pay attention to the length of a single piece. After that, for example, the one at the back, after drawing it, let's mark the entire point position, find it according to this location. After it's done, look, what is this rod? It's more centered in the image. So let's first draw this one for it. When painting it, consider what to consider and what the obscuration relationship between the two is important. Let's create this kind of obscuration relationship, teacher. This step uses soft carbon. Actually, right now for beginners, it's fine. I tried painting with soft carbon. Then you don't have to use hard carbon to paint. After that, you can decide how to get on this half. At the very beginning, the rubber shape can be treated as a simple thing, a simple rectangle. Just treat it as a rectangle. After that, there's another rubber strip pressed behind this section, right? Let's find the one at the back and press it down. When we first start drafting styling, we must learn something, this inductive ability. With this ability to summarize, your styling will be relatively more accurate. Treat the objects that should exist as a geometric drawing. After finishing, the preliminary draft is done. Better to release material sources. So what we're looking for is a bit more of a local formula. After that, we'll come back now. Let's carefully sketch the feeling of this rubber head. For example, you should start looking from the middle section of the rubber. You see, my drafting tends to be rather thin. It's the kind of composite line that uses single lines to find fewer lines. Look at the whole thing now. Our whole rubber feels, right? Let's paint the fullness of this rubber tip to make it look a bit fuller. After finishing, the position of the head of a triangle. Don't make this head too long. Don't make the rubber head too long. After finishing, draw this kind of wrapping relationship. Draw the entire wrapping relationship of this rubber. After that's done, after we found the whole rubber head, let's take the whole rubber head. Look, this is another triangle. Can you see this screen? Look, this is another triangle plus a T-shaped relationship. As long as we can draw and have this ability to summarize, your styling will become more and more accurate. Drawing means summarizing things into rectangles. Either summarize it as a T-shape or triangle, or it's a circle, just these shapes. So when we first learn a few shapes, we start with spherical square columns because everything evolved from them. It is a complex form that has come over. After that, look, the rubber is almost ready. Let's get it right away. What is the point we set at this point? The position of the head doesn't mean the entire rubber is that long. After finishing, start from this end and look for the length of the rubber as a whole rubber is the easiest way to draw questions during learning first. It's easy to lose weight and make rubber paint thin and long. Second, it's easy to get round, so try to draw each segment as much as possible. After finishing drawing piece by piece, cut it into different shapes bit by bit. Because bananas are most afraid of round flowers, and round flowers tend to look like fingers. It doesn't look like a banana anymore. Done. At this spot, let's root out the whole banana, right? Root out the whole banana root. After rooting it, let's root out the back section. At this spot, don't draw it too sharply. How can you not draw it too sharp? Look at the angle of the two lines. You need to set them apart a bit. If the left falling stroke is at a small angle, look at the drawing here, then tape it in a bit. The whole head loses its fullness. The whole feeling is just a bit pointed. So the tilt angle of these two wires is very important. In other words, how can you make these bananas look not slim, but full and full? See, after the line is turned, you'll see the line has a slight curve. See, at this point, my brushwork has a bit of curve. It won't be a straight line drawn from the start. Done. Then again, you see the line is curved. The curved line's a bit slower. Early on, students must draw slowly. After finishing, look at the next section. Let's complete the whole picture. After that, something appears here. A lining covering appears on this part. Let's draw the cover rod on it. Also, when we draw this kind of barrier bar, either we block a bit more or don't cover at all. So you can see that the original image doesn't cover much of it, right? It almost overlaps with the edge line of this banana. So let's make it look better when it covers a bit more. So let's just thread this wire inward. But look, teacher, why isn't the connection at this position? Because the connection is too solid and this part goes out of the corner. Once the character is protruding, it's easy to prick people, making it look especially tough. So when we paint places like this, we try to use as much as possible not connected. This point seems like a connection, but not just connected. That feeling is done. Now let's draw the banana at the very end, because we've talked about near, solid, far away, empty, right? We need to draw space. So when we draw the banana at the back, look overall, the wiring tends towards something very shallow, right? The middle part leans towards something very heavy, relatively heavy. This one leans a bit more and more important. Let me explain to everyone. Why do these edge lines vary in weight? First, let's analyze where the light source of this painting comes from. Does the light source come from the upper left? So this area belongs to the backlight. This area belongs to the light receiving surface. This one is the bright part, and this one is the dark area. The line in the dark area must be relatively off point. It must be relatively darker and the color a bit darker after that. This is another relationship for the distant part of the light. So for this cable, it's better to keep it a bit lighter and it'll work. After that, the overall feeling is that the banana wasn't painted too fat, because the banana in the back of the original photo is chubby and our styling is different. Pursuing a little is the law of near is large, far is small. So let's take this banana subjectively. Look, its width is not as wide as the one in front. Create a slightly close-up and small distance. After finishing, let's now move to the position of the light and dark analysis lines for the outward direction. The position of the light and dark analysis lines does not need to be drawn too heavy. Just gently outline it outward and you just need to know where it is. Look, after this part is done, why not draw this part? Since the light is on the left side, this side is a bit lighter. Done. This banana has produced something on it. The two of them are covered. If there's coverage, then there's something to be projected, right? So let's create the shadow shape for it. We need to create the projection shape, and after finishing, find the structural relationship within the banana itself. Look, there's a structure here. Turn this structure to this position, and there's another structure. After finishing at this location, there's another structure, right? Look at this structure here. Divide the bananas at the back into one side, two noodles, and the third side here. We must paint the texture of the banana's chunky texture. Look, 123 represents one color, two colors, three colors. If we have this kind of block, we definitely need some color variation done. There's cover. For the edge line, we need to slightly clip it a bit. So look at this position, teacher. Slowly change the brush from the side tip to something else, gradually becoming a slightly more upright edge. It's like a pen touching a pen while writing. Why do you have to do this? It's because after refining the shape, shape the card bit by bit. After finishing, I had drawn this mark before. We don't need to change it, just treat it as the thickness, then you don't need to use an eraser to wipe it off. A bit of gray is quite attractive after finishing. Look at the whole rubber. After one turn, the whole one rotates down. See, just bring a little. No need to bring too much. That's enough, no more moving. After finishing, look at the surface above. Look, 1, 2, 3 are three faces, and what kind of changes will appear on the top face. This position will change slightly. This position will move up a bit and connect with this area. Let's use an eraser to erase the section we drew earlier, slightly weakened. After that, it has some obstruction with the rubber behind it, so draw the shading effect. Whoever covers someone's edge can make it a bit heavier. This spot is tilted up a bit raised, a bit raised. After that, look at the overall color relationship and what it looks like. A shape moves upward, it gets narrower and narrower. This side is wider and narrower as it rises. You see, this physical object is the same. So what do we need for this position? We need to draw it according to the actual object. You can't just rely on your own feel. Done. The rubber at the back. Let's use the rubber at the back. Find the light and dark divider for it. This one is relatively easy to find. Look, our drawing isn't very heavy. The original photo's light and dark lines are relatively heavy, but let's take a slightly more basic approach. After finishing, you can see that the structure of our rubber has already been completed. Now let's put some rubber on the headband, this auxiliary small leaf blade. Let's use this small vertical wind to simply outline, simply outline. Precisely refine some of the necessary shapes without bringing too much, but this thing, let's draw a bit better, right? Just bring a little in the sketch style, just a little, no need to bring too much. After that, the earlier part is also there. Look at this position. Let's just use the brush to relax a bit, bring out a bit of image, and that's enough. Now, let's slightly shape the size of this rubber. Let's get the shape of this thing perfect. Just a little banding doesn't need to make the shape look especially dark. No need to paint it too heavy. Now that we've found the shape of the rubber head, what do we need to look for? Find the rubber head shape and the surrounding image of the interlining. We don't need to bring too much lining, just a bit of coverage. Look, there's a bit of coverage here. Bring it out, cover it, or stick with what we just said. If you want to cover it bigger. If you want to cover it, then don't cover it. So let's subjectively make this position a bit bigger, so we didn't let it cover that much. After that, now let's put its head shadow position, the head shadow, and follow it out. The head shadow changes with its ups and downs. So you see, what is the head shadow the teacher draws? Segment by segment, it doesn't just connect a straight line. A straight line connects it, which means something. It has no ups and downs. So drawing it is very simple. We've already directly strengthened the buffs that need to be buffed. After finishing, check the position and still have some ups and downs. After that, look for this spot, then look for its head shadow. This reinforced line gives it a bit more weight. Look, this is a lining covering the banana, so this spot has a strong sense of coverage. For this position, let's use the pointed point to select the eyebrows. The lines are very brisk, just very direct. Don't waste time on too many unnecessary words. Just draw that line so thickly. Pay close attention to the shape and turn it here. After turning again, let's just move a bit out of this spot. This is called the fabric covers structure. Although we're talking about drawing a single piece, we should also move the fabric cover up and add some things. After that, look at the banana at this spot, still looking for its head. And the ups and downs of the head shadow are very significant. Look at the relationship between the entire head shadow. Now let's add the sidelines that need to be strengthened. Just add a little and you'll be fine. With this step to enhance the look is complete. Next, what do? When applying colors, we can directly use this soft carbon because what I just used is this soft carbon, right? First, let's review the light source, right? Is it coming from here? So let's follow its structural formation and add color inside. When it comes to color, we can find a slight change. Also, when we're sorting colors or cables, don't arrange them like this. Don't line up, it's just a small bladder, just like this. And if you need it like this, it's just one strand after another. One is one rod. How do you get the sound? The whole area is in the shadow area. So let's press it in. When we press down to this position, look at what we're all doing with shape, pushing the surface. Follow the shape and add a bit of color inside. We haven't found the shape of this part perfectly, so let's follow this shape a bit further inside. After finishing, this position needs to be emphasized, right? Emphasize a bit and add thickness. After emphasizing thickness, let's emphasize this position a bit more. Look, this position is following the shape inward. This position is following the shape outward. Our ribbon cables must fit perfectly with this shape, and the shapes and colors must be well combined. Done. Then at the banana spot, let's find its shape changes. Done. Scan the color inside, then move to this spot. Then look for shapes. See, what is this called? Further refine the shape because your previous modeling isn't clear, so there will definitely be a slight deviation. So for this step, you must shape it with the purpose of finishing the shape. After that, look at this spot. Everyone, let's see the whole thing. You see, it's also arranged in a way that fits the description. All right, stick it all and move inward. Done. Isn't this spot a bit sticky? You can't tell which side of its shape is heavier and which side is shallower, right? So at this point, you need to add color to the shape when you gather the shape. Look, now I'm folding it out. Doesn't it come out? After finishing, I arrange the colors along one side. At this step, we absolutely shouldn't just focus on the shape. Just pull out the shape. That's not allowed. What must it be? Either it's heavy here or it's heavy here, and this side is heavy. It must be two color blocks with two faces that change. It's definitely not about outlining the shape and the color being the same after finishing. That's it. You also need to strengthen pushing inward. This is called edge contraction consolidation, right? The more you retract the edge, the clearer the object is. After finishing, observe that there are some small horizontal and vertical structural relationships, and bring out these horizontal and vertical structural relationships. Put the colors in. What will you notice when you look at the lines the teacher arranges? Each strand is a single strand with very uniform spacing. It won't be packed so densely, nor will it be so rough. Draw this line, which is definitely a heavier line between the two sides. Look, at this position, am I closing the shape, right? Once the shape is drawn, look, this is a face. I just draw it right up to this side and then stop moving. Look, after stopping again on this side, what do you all need to know? Transformation and color change. This is a face. This is a surface that has a turning point. What must the color of this surface be that is? Let's distinguish the colors of the different surfaces, including the fourth side, which is the banana root. Look, the heaviest part is lighter and lighter, right? But these two sides are not separated now. So what should we do? Strengthen one of the faces a bit. Look, what is it then? Shape changes, color changes, and the finished shape here looks a bit flat. Look, teacher, what is it like at this moment? Use the vertical wind to fill in its shape, making it less square and a bit rounder. Move toward this position and follow its projection shape inward. What are the wires brought at this time? Gradient lines. What is a gradient line? When pushing from the starting point back to this area, the color will become lighter. Don't make the line the same color. This part is also a gradient line. Start point heavy, cut point. Let's push the color out from heavy to light. See, it still has that gradient feel. Our ribbon cables definitely need gradients. We've set up checkpoints on both sides, but we don't have any stuck on this side. So what should we say? That is, the key point must have a strong rhythm, weak rhythm, no matter how strong it is. If you can't be strong, then what does that belong to? The painting is dead. In our sketching, it's a rigid style with very rigid lines, shape wrap, bring out a bit of color, but don't bring it so strong. Why? Because where are the two strongest points in this whole area? The first point is here, the second point is here, strong at both ends, weak in the middle. So look, at this position, we didn't draw too much. Look, both ends are strong. Are we now increasing the weight of these two ends? Look at this end and this end. If it's a bit stronger, that's fine. We don't need to paint it that strong. Don't say the teacher said the painting is strong. Right? Done. Let's make it especially dark. Finally saying that after I gave in, he threw me off again. That's absolutely wrong. If it's relatively strong, it's okay. Right now, there's no heaviest spot to get out. At first, we don't draw the heaviest dot on it. Done. Now let's push this way, right? When pushing this way, you can set a point at the location of the Mia boundary line in this area step by step. With thickness, the color feels insufficient, so try again. After finishing, the direction changes a bit and intersperses a bit. This is also the direction. This is the slope, a bit steeper, then this one turns a bit. Because I'm using a soft scald right now, I won't use such much force to paint this position because we didn't want it to be all slanted and horizontal. That would seem especially fake, so I just lined up normally. But look at what I discharged. It also has a sense of intertwining. It's not just a single wire connected. Just connecting a single wire makes things easier. It's easy to distinguish the volume, and the volume tends to be flat. Bring this small place, see how you connect it, right? Connect all this place, done. Let's go to this spot to make the head shadow shape while adding color to the head. See, this part used to be a single line, but now we add another change on top of that line. Ribbon cable, be a bit more steady. Slowly thread out this cable. Now look at the shape of this fabric paper. It doesn't look good. Why is it not attractive? It's a bit round, like a small drum bag. Let's learn it now. Use a straight line to cut it out and shape it. After that, this bit is strong, this point is weak, and this part becomes even stronger. Let's follow this color out. After finishing, look, push the colors forward. See, the whole color is distinguishable from the inside. What do we distinguish from them? Distinguish one of its polygons, then collect its shape. Push it inward a bit excessively from heavy to shallow. But look at the original photo. It's so heavy, teacher. Why didn't you paint it so dark? Because bananas are the center of the world. What we want to show is the banana's close shadow to the banana. Just hold it a bit and it's fine. This is already relatively far from the head shadow, so we didn't paint the colors that heavily. Just bring a little and it's fine. So look, you can tell this color, right? You need to hold this position a bit harder from heavy to shallow, even shallower. Look, what is this? A color progression. Isn't it all the same? After finishing, what is the shadow on this side? In the backlit area, the light comes from this side, so the head shadow in this area will definitely be a bit lighter. What will the photos show for everyone be like? They all feel equally heavy because photos are naturally flat, so they don't have such a strong sense of movement. So at this point, you need to subjectively adjust it. Just bring a little, and it's done. No need to draw. Now, let's trace the banana head to it. One set of lines, one set of lines. Look, this is a set, and another set has a small variation at this position. Let's trace this small variation shape. Look, this is another group. Find the right shutter relationships among these groups anyway. This group is a bit heavier because the banana head itself has some color relationships and color variations, and its inherent color is quite heavy. After finishing, do some horizontal comparison in this area. How do you make horizontal comparison? Look a little slower. Leave some white in this spot, leave some white in this spot, don't fill it all up. The same principle applies here. At this point, the cube brush should be held like writing, but the brush is slower. Look, this spot leaves a bit of white. What is this white doing? Make it a hierarchical relationship. Let's move this spot upward from the back. After that, the banana in the distance from heavy to shallow. This spot is a bit more stuck. After finishing, seal a bit of shape here, seal this shape and add some color inside. Don't bring too much to emphasize its structure. This point card is a point, this point 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 is a point. We don't have any stutters, so you must pick the exact points to draw and not make the entire line too heavy. Transition by section with a dot. After that, here we use the background color to bring out a bit of background. Hold this shape, hold the shape, then finish. From heavy to light, throw the color out, then discharge. The farther you go, the looser the lines get, right? After that, the position is a bit more spacious, but you can see the strong, the weak, and the strong. It won't be drawn with a big black edge. Look, the color is arranged again. Anyway, just a little background is enough. We don't need to bring too much now. Let's see if there's any spot that needs touch-up. If you need touch-up, press it again, then adjust it again. Don't rush to wipe. Before you do, you must make sure to do something about the color, relatively speaking. It will be more complete, touch up its color. Look, the bright parts are still unchanged. Most of the colors we use now are mostly shadow areas. Now let's take out what? Take out hard carbon, a little bit of its bright gray surface. After finishing, wipe off any heavy structural lines from before. Because why don't we draw more structure? Because this thing hinders your use of color. For example, look at this position. Look at the entire line of the line. This location is another set. Structural lines at this position. With thickness, sweep a bit inward for color transition. At this position, you can see it has a diagonal turn on the gray side. This position will have some edge gray, also called transitional gray. This position must have some kind of contrast, solid or void thickness. Let's not paint it too thin, and there must be some gradient relationship. After moving toward the dark area, look at my line that I also extended toward the bright part, but in the middle, if you can keep it off, then don't connect, right? No need to draw and push it to the middle, just seal all the colors in it. Here we haven't drawn it yet, so we're going straight to the end here. What we're going to paint now is the three main surfaces: heavy, gray, and bright, bright. We leave it completely blank, can't touch it. After that, add a bit more gray on this side. Look, here, the direction line we use is this direction. Ribbon cables, a bit slower done. Check the dark area to see if there are any overly bright lines. Notice the dark area is slightly bright, so move the dark area downward. Because for this step, what are you using? You used hard carbon. We just replaced the soft carbon. It's about adjusting the color relationships in the image done. The rubber at the back also has a bit of transitional relation. Look, a gray face, scan out another gray face. This gray surface should be as bright as possible, but don't let it connect. Look, this part isn't connected, but this part is connected. After that, this small leaf we didn't draw just now. Now take out soft carbon. This is not soft carbon. Simply bring the leaf light. This thing probably won't invest too much energy into portraying it. After that, we can now massage it. When we rub together, what do we take out first? Take out this kind of paper and pen, take out the erasing pen, because wiping the brush helps with finishing the shape in the early stages. But when the teacher wipes the cloth, he doesn't wipe it all at once. Look at the little bit of the belt. Look at the little bit of the belt. After wiping, I'll put it on the edge of the paper at this spot to sign. Control the powder on the sticker well. Don't keep wiping it with the tip. Look at the location of the checkpoint and scan down a bit harder. Where the shape needs to be retracted, let's tuck this shape out a bit. All right, let's put this shape in it now. Then we put this shape inside. 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 There are many places inside that haven't been kneaded. Why didn't you knead it? Because some parts inside need to be massaged thoroughly. Erasing the pen, huh? Wiping through that kind of thing isn't really good? Let's change tools in a bit. Just mark the location of this lock point toward the source. Look at this position. Click here. We should all block these kinds of critical spots. Why do you like using a tool that is willing to use an eraser pen? Because tools like the wiping pen are easier to shape and easier to erase, and they tend to be heavier to erase. The color of the eraser is a bit heavier, which is more suitable for pressing and tapping. Look at this place. This place is a bit closer, right? Look, the color is very deep, and the deeper color isn't so dull or dull. Look at this step. What exactly do we need to do well? Collect the form. As for the big surface inside, we can just leave it untouched for now. Just pull this body relationship outward and you can do it. See, we don't completely wipe it off. Including the position of the Mia analysis line. You see, I didn't draw it too heavy, but when you wipe it, you can see the color is a bit heavier. Alright, no more wiping. You can save this part for a while. See, at this time I'll go to Chonfen, and there will definitely be a lot of Qianfen. Move toward the outward belt, finish this position, then head toward the outward belt. This position, take it, emphasize it a bit, use the wiping pen at the end of the shape. Look, emphasize a bit, look, we haven't even wiped this step yet. After finishing, the first grader can use the eraser pen to do some work.
It brings out a bit of its grayish surface and a touch of its sense of light and shadow. Now let's change tools, switch to this kind of eraser. This kind of eraser wipes more evenly and penetrates better. So you can see that the material you wipe will look a bit more transparent. Look at now, wiping the pen to press the point and finish the shape, right? Erasing the knife to rub the big gray surface. See, the usage is the same as the pen ribbon cable, just sweep it in. Put this description in mind. Because what are the features of the knife eraser? It rubs more evenly and is more breathable. The wiping pen is suitable for rubbing a bit of something, especially for spots that are more tight. But that's not for everyone. If you're skilled at using it, wiping the pen is the same. But now, what exactly are we targeting? Many students are not proficient, right? So when you're not skilled, it's better to borrow some foreign currency, using some materials to do something and make up for it. Look at this spot, knead it a few more times. See, it's already been wiped now, right? But let's come back and wipe it again. Make sure your color is kneaded evenly. Done, like the one in the back, it's a bit grayer. Look, isn't this spot a bit gray? This spot is bright, so we can rub it directly in. Just don't make it so bright. Look at this spot, let's make it smooth, rub it twice, and color it. Why do you need to rub more? Because the first time you rub it, the color hasn't been brought in yet. It's not that heavy yet. The more you apply it, the grayer the color gets. So when it comes to these rubbing tools, you must prepare everything completely. Once you're done, when you start drawing in the early stages, when your skills aren't enough, you definitely need to use external help to wipe it out, because the effect of each tool is quite different. Look, this spot is for wiping with a knife. This spot is for wiping with a pen. Look, this spot is off point, the color is a bit lighter, and this spot might be a bit heavier. Reflective spots, for example, look at this spot. Does it have reflections? But the reflective effect isn't that strong. You can use your hand to stick it against the edge, wear it, and let the color reflect and come out, gently holding on, gently holding on. When we need it, we must control the shape and shape. Well, look, the reflection should be left where it should be. Look, this spot is still bright reflections. Don't make them all equally bright. Some students paint this one bright, this one bright. Each strip is the same. Bright must be split points. What is a point of division? For example, look, this spot is lit up now and this spot is gray, right? This spot is gray too, so you can brighten it up a bit more, right? At this spot, you can use your hands to rub it until it's a bit shiny, right? You must make sure the reflections have a certain layering relationship. This position, since we used the vertical wind to paint during the coloring just now, the line marks are very strong when you erase them, and these lines will remain in your image. If the line is bold, the sense of shaping will be very strong. So I intentionally made this kind of thing this way, letting the bottom be breathable and giving it a sense of shaping, because this thing won't be too detailed later. Then just gather this edge, tuck this edge, see, push the color outward. Look, hold this edge. After pushing, immediately use the blade wiper side to flip it over, right? Spread it all over and use it as a large brush, rubbing it bit by bit. Therefore, these utilitarian tools must be used well. So why do we need to knead this spot twice more? Because the wire rod was too strong earlier, the entire edge line feels too strong, so let's knead it a bit weaker. Should we wipe it off or let it do something? It's a bit better at combining form and color. Don't let it just leave the edge line dumbfounded after wiping. If you do that, your entire look or visual impression will look stiff and clueless. Look, this spot is a bit jumpy, so I'll use a scraper and wipe it a couple more times. Because if you apply it too often, the color will be taken away and will become a bit lighter. This is different from a wiping pen. Rub the pen twice, and maybe if you press harder, the color will be a bit heavier. Wipe this area evenly, thoroughly, until it penetrates. Once done, let's shape these small parts and make them out for a bit. I'm afraid you might misunderstand. I'm afraid you'll draw structures. Next, we can switch tools or use a hand or a wipe. Because the eraser stick will be a bit lighter in color, let's try it first and move a bit closer to the image. After that, this will be a bit softer to apply. Because with the eraser just now, after you finish cleaning the dark areas, the colors tend to be a bit darker. So when we rub, we must prepare which part is for polishing separately and which is for cleaning the shadow area separately. Don't use the same thing to wipe every time, as that will make it hard to control the color in your highlights. The painting itself isn't that heavy, but since your tool hasn't switched, there are too many light pinks. This causes the color to look grayer and darker after applying. So using this device can help you make colors brighter. So using this device can help you make colors brighter. So using this device can help you make colors brighter. So using this device can help you make colors brighter. So using this device can help you make colors brighter. So using this device can help you make colors brighter. For distant edges, rub them with a bit of edge gray, but don't leave the edges completely blank. Let's make the background a bit smoother. But look, when I was painting the background just now, the ribbon cables were quite force-driven. So no matter how you erase it, the line marks are still very strong after finishing at this current location. It feels a bit stronger. At this point, we can use our hands to make the color a bit gray, make a little gray, but don't sweat on your hands. Look at the hand, put it on. What will this color change? Make it even shallower? Look, I just felt the color here was a bit dark, uncomfortable, because the position itself should be at the back signature move. Bring one, all right. After putting it on, we can now take out this highlighter to brighten or narrow it down. These shapes must be closed where they should be collected. Anyway, this spot, you see, our drawing is a bit heavy, right? Let's sweep this thing twice and make the colors lighter, so everyone must be able to observe your image and find the shortcomings in your image. Look at this position. We're also shaping the shape, the styling vibe. Because when you rub and rub, you inevitably encounter this situation, which means you need to take the shape properly. After that, look, the color is a bit heavy, right? Just sweep a couple of times with it and the color will lighten. Finished. Check the edges of this place, check the edges of this place. After finishing, this side is a bit heavy. Fix the edges, make these neat and tidy, draw them neatly. Now, when we start to dig deeper, we definitely focus on which part to draw around the most crucial part at the front. When going deeper, you can take out medium carbon, or hard carbon. Let's go to the dark part first. Let's hold off on the bright part for now. First, go pinch the dot or gather shapes or draw these things. It's just that the changes are a bit stronger. After painting, let's rub this area with our hands to give it a slight variation, but the color still gets in. Look, after finishing the drawing, the teacher is always good at this spot. We must first focus on the shadows and paint around the bright areas, not around the bright areas or the gray surfaces first. Put this color in. Here, don't arrange too many colors and don't use wires that feel too strong. So you see, the teacher still has a bit of softness and weakness, but at this moment, I gently take the lead. Why? Because if you push too hard here, it can easily get muddy. You also need to keep the line in place, but don't jump too much. The strongest line should be at this position. So you see, when I'm drawing it, the lines at this position are a bit stronger. We should fold the shape and bring some colors. Just look at the ribbon cable at this spot. It's really strong. It's intentional because this kind of line is very strong, so it tends to pull up space and make it easier to pull up volume. So, generally, where are these stronger wires used? It is used in places that are more agile and near the front. You see, the line sensing here is quite strong now, but you see, I borrow a tool to make it a bit weaker, so the line isn't so strong. After pressing the projection, hold the projection point and move toward the outward area. Then, at this position, you can see me drawing while I adjust the shape of this position. Turn off the shape at this spot, let's adjust it. Anyway, after this step, we absolutely must not throw away the eraser pen. Look, at this spot, I'll dig deeper, then use the eraser pen strap and try to make sure the thread penetrates as much as possible. Don't let it jump too high, so you have to wipe what needs to be wiped. It's not like you stop after wiping. For example, I feel the color at this spot needs to be a bit grayer. I don't even draw it, I just use this eraser to push it in. But don't bring too much when wiping the pen. Too much will cause problems and become greasy. So as long as you keep a moderate degree, it's fine. Anyway, the front is solid, the back is weak. See, although I said I'm emphasizing this point, the front is heavier, the back is a bit weaker. Just bring out a bit of layering on the top of the head. After wearing it, you can gently wear it with your hand. Anyway, this spot looks a bit sharp, right? Let's trim the corners a bit, right? Don't make it too sharp. For this position, I'll make it a bit more hollow, a bit more hollow. Let's continue heading to this spot. Look, when I set cables, I swipe the gray surface to make a slight change. Be sure to let the reflection flow out. Don't sweep too much. You can add a small gradient line at this spot. Give it a bit of a little bumpy bag texture, so I'll slightly strengthen this position. At this point, let's change the brush, switch to hard carbon, slide this color in, scan it in. After wearing it, gently rub it with your hands, but don't rub too hard. This spot, I feel like the color is a bit heavy. See, I brightened up this color a little. Let's use hard carbon. We can bring it a bit higher. Done. Let's make the polygons at this position more neat. When we draw things, we must make the form very regular and not rigid. You can't make the edge line stand alone, but you need to make the line very clear, and the polygon should be very clear. Then look, this spot is also here. If you feel the closing is stronger, let's close the shape. Let's use this kind of rubbing tool and swing it down a little to adjust it. See, at this point, the teacher doesn't just focus on drawing a little bit around a single point. Draw some of them everywhere. Bring out a bit of transition. This position, everyone. Look, my diagonal ribbon cable. This means letting the lines stand out and bring out a bit of transition toward the bright gray surface. Then, look at the overall color. Now let's start making the root. Look at this place. The crossbar is a bit strong, a bit special, just a band. Also, let him change the line crossbar or something else so that the relative tension will weaken a little. Look at this position. Go from heavy to shallow, push, slow down, line up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, that's enough after finishing. This spot is also, go check it out, but don't draw too many lines with these stucks or it will get messy. Bringing just a little bit is enough. Look at this spot, I'll sweep a bit of dust, sweep a bit. Look at this position, follow its edge shape, create a generational relationship projection shape. At this point, emphasize what needs to be emphasized, transition again. Continue to do it for this step. We're using hard carbon. If you're holding a pencil, you can use it for less than 2B. Anyway, look at this position. Look at the overall shape. Just a little more press, right?
Anyway, let's not draw anymore. Why not draw it anymore? Let's add a bit of line to this bright gray surface. See, I've always used the cable very slowly and loosely, right? Just a little bright fabric tape is enough. If you leave a blank space, that's definitely not okay, but just a little at this position, let's emphasize its edges and extend a bit of color relation, pushing the color out. Look, when you sweep out this color, when you scan, because the background area is quite large, it definitely needs to be loose and loose. Brush horizontal, don't be too strong. After finishing, look at the direction of the direction line, teacher. This direction, it will give it a bit of crossover. Let it breathe a little more. If there is absolutely no crossing, it's just that kind of direction. Just paint. This makes it feel rather dull. Let's make the drawing a bit more breathable, After that, look at the banana at the back. See, it brings out a bit of gray edge. Is this banana really that deeply in depth? No, we're just doing a beginner introductory course. A single unit, simple understanding. Let's move to the next card, for example. We've already left this beginner player, right? Let's draw bananas like the experts, right? We can even make it more detailed. We can reshape it. Let's draw a basic one now. A few major connections are enough. Look, at this point in the drawing, let's have less big connections. Doing a little is better than making a big relationship horizontally. Where should I strengthen? Where, for example, this spot is a bit dull, this color, look, I'll use my hand to loosen it a bit. After rubbing, I add 2 more lines. Look at the overall color. Press it down. After pressing it down mainly, the projection at this position brings out a bit of line, right? For this interlining, let's add some lines, right? Since we're not drawing interlining, now let's add a bit so it doesn't get so separated. It's a good opportunity for everyone to practice the layout of the cable, because cable management isn't about practicing 1 or 2 classes. This thing requires you to train repeatedly which lines should be arranged densely and which should be arranged a bit more loosely. Let's move this spot inward and press the color inward. After pressing the color, we can now go and bring this color in. That's it. Do some shaping and finishing positions. Collect all the shapes that need to be collected. Look, the card is a bit heavier. We're only now charging it a little. This single banana can serve as a primary banana. When we draw the individual later, the banana will be shaped a bit more by the next stage.